Freeport-McMoRan, a high-quality copper franchise, but still a cyclical stock whose multiple moves with confidence in the copper market, not just with company execution. Historically, the big success was building one of the strongest global copper portfolios, with major long-life assets in the US, South America, and Indonesia. Even after the disruption at Grauberg, Freeport finished 2025 with 3.6 billion pounds of copper sales, 1.1 million ounces of gold sales, $25.9 billion of revenue, and $5.6 billion of operating cash flow, while ending the year with just $2.3 billion of net debt excluding downstream facility debt. That is why investors have repeatedly been willing to re-rate the stock higher when copper tightens. The asset base is real, the leverage to copper is enormous, and the balance sheet is no longer the old problem it once was. But the historical investor mistake with Freeport has always been the same: pricing temporary commodity strength as if it were permanent earnings power. Freeport can look incredibly cheap at cycle peaks and suddenly expensive when the cycle weakens, even if the underlying mines remain world-class. In 2025, average realized copper prices rose to $4.75 per pound from $4.21, but production still fell because of the September mud rush incident at PTFI, especially at Grauberg. That combination tells the whole story. This is not a smooth compounder. It is a premium cyclical where prices, volumes, and sentiment can all swing at once. Now to the present. The stock is roughly $70 today, not far from the $68 level on your chart, and that makes sense because the market is balancing two very different forces. On one side, copper remains very strong. LME copper was around $13,270 per ton today, and the market is still being shaped by tariff uncertainty and long-term electrification demand. On the other side, Freeport is still working through the Grauberg restart, and management's 2026 outlook assumes only 3.4 billion pounds of copper sales this year, with about 60% of copper sales and 75% of gold sales expected in the second half as Grauberg ramps back up. So the stock is not being valued like a distressed miner anymore, but it is also not being given a straight-line copper boom multiple yet. Looking forward, the estimate zone on your chart is really about durability. The upside case is powerful. Freeport says 2026 operating cash flow could be about $8 billion at $5 copper, and roughly $11 billion using recent price assumptions, while unit net cash costs are expected to improve through the year as Grauberg restarts. On top of that, the company signed an MOU with Indonesia in February for a life-of-resource extension of Grauberg operating rights beyond 2041, which strengthens the long-term story. But for the stock to earn the higher valuation band consistently, investors need two things. First, proof that Grauberg restarts smoothly, and second, evidence that copper stays structurally strong enough to support elevated cash generation. Freeport is no longer just a recovery story, but it is still a copper cycle story, and that means execution and the macro both matter. Let's go straight into the risks, because with Freeport, the biggest 2026 risk is not that the company owns bad assets. The biggest risk is that a great copper producer is still tied to a volatile commodity tape. Freeport's 2026 framework is highly sensitive to copper. Management said operating cash flow could be around $8 billion at $5 copper, but much higher at stronger recent prices. That sounds attractive, but it also means the reverse is true. If copper weakens because of macro slowdown, China demand concerns, or broader risk-off sentiment, the earnings power can compress very quickly. That is the classic mining risk. The asset quality can stay intact while the market suddenly cuts the multiple. The second major risk is operational. Freeport's 2026 guidance depends on a phased restart of the Grauberg block cave beginning in the second quarter, with the company expecting the majority of copper and gold sales in the second half. That concentration matters. If the restart slips, if the ramp is slower than planned, or if inventories and smelting timing become more complicated than expected, the whole year can feel back-end loaded and more fragile. Management itself flagged that projected sales and costs depend on operational performance, restart timing, weather, shipments, and other variables. There is also real geopolitical and regulatory risk in Indonesia. The February MOU is strategically positive, but it still requires an amended IUPK and comes with conditions around downstreaming, exploration spending, and a future transfer of additional ownership interest after 2041. In other words, the long-term story improved, but it did not become risk-free. Indonesia remains one of the world's most important copper jurisdictions, and that also means policy risk always matters more here than it would for a pure US miner. Finally, expectations themselves are a risk. The stock has rallied with copper, and FCX recently traded near fresh 52-week highs. That means investors are increasingly pricing in both a strong metal market and a better second half. If one of those pillars weakens, the stock can correct sharply even if Freeport remains fundamentally solid. Bottom line, Freeport's 2026 risk is less about business quality and more about how unforgiving a cyclical stock becomes when copper, Indonesia, and restart timing all matter at once. Now the opportunity side, because Freeport is one of the clearest ways to play a structurally tighter copper market through a portfolio of world-class assets. In the short term, the biggest opportunity is simple: operational normalization at Grauberg. If the restart proceeds on schedule, second-half sales should be much stronger than first-half levels, and that can dramatically improve how the market sees 2026 earnings power. Management also expects unit net cash costs to decline through the year as PTFI operations and smelting activities restart and ramp up. That gives the stock a powerful short-term earnings lever if copper prices remain supportive. A second short-term opportunity is in the Americas. Freeport's leaching and technology initiatives generated 214 million pounds of incremental copper production in 2025, achieved an annual run rate of about 240 million pounds in late 2025, and are targeting 300 million pounds in 2026. That matters because it is not just a price story. It is also a self-help story: more recoveries, better efficiency, and stronger U.S. output without needing a giant new greenfield mine first. Add in the March dividend declaration of 15 cents per share, including a variable component, and the near-term setup includes real cash return support if the metal stays firm. Longer term, the opportunity is even larger. The February agreement with Indonesia supports a life of resource extension for Grauberg beyond 2041, which is hugely important because Grauberg is one of the world's most significant copper and gold deposits. In the U.S., Freeport is advancing studies at Baghdad and Safford/Lone Star, while in Chile it has started the environmental permit process for a $7.5 billion El Abra expansion that could increase output to about 300,000 tons per year. Those are not small tweaks, they are major sources of future copper optionality. And the macro backdrop still matters in Freeport's favor. Copper demand is increasingly linked to AI infrastructure, electrification, grids, and defense-related supply chains, while the market remains focused on tight supply and trade distortions. So the long-term bull case is not just copper goes up. It is that Freeport combines premium resource quality, long mine lives, improving U.S. optionality, and a cleaner balance sheet in a commodity that the world increasingly needs more of. The upside is not only higher earnings, it is the possibility that Freeport becomes a more durable through-cycle winner in a structurally stronger copper era. Based on your rating counts, analyst sentiment is clearly bullish. 19 bullish ratings versus only 2 holds and 1 sell tell you Wall Street still sees Freeport as one of the best large-cap ways to play copper. That makes sense. The company has scale, a stronger balance sheet than in the past, real second-half operational upside from Grauberg, and major leverage to higher copper prices. With FCX trading around $70 today, the market is already recognizing that this is more than just another cyclical miner. But the holds and the 1 sell are important, because they reflect the real debate around the stock. Investors are not arguing much about asset quality. They are arguing about timing and expectations. After the copper rally and the recent run toward 52-week highs, the question is whether too much of the good news is already in the price before Grauberg is fully back and before Q1 results confirm the next step. In other words, the disagreement is less about, is Freeport good? And more about, how much of the copper upside should already be capitalized today? The next checkpoint is very close. Freeport's Q1 2026 earnings call is scheduled for April 23rd. That matters because investors will want updates on copper realizations, first quarter volumes, Grauberg restart timing, and management's tone on the second half. Bottom line, analysts broadly like the story, but for the stock to keep re-rating, management now needs to turn copper strength into visible execution.